Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble servant and and narrator for today, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And as always, I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And cosmic hugs to everybody out there, and hope you're buckled up into your little inner tubes for this wonderful joyous ride through the energies of the cosmos. And this particular video is unplanned in a lot of ways. Hello, Lori Hardy. How are you? Blessings to you. And I go to the local store, to pick up bread and milk and a couple of, I had to get cat food. That was very important. So, it's not that I don't ever make this trip, but I've lived here for going on 40 years. So I've made this trip in and out of back and forth to Meg's a bunch of times over the years. And here recently, and it's not just going into town, but in other places that I've driven to, there are things going across the road. I mean, I walked out in the yard and looked up just to see how the clouds were, and there's like this zinger, and I thought, oh my God, what was that? That was like a really big um, lightning bug or something else, and it's like went by, and then I was like, wow, you know I know I'm not high or anything, what the hell's going on here? And then something else, and I'm like, they're not in the sky, they're around me. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I know that there are a lot of energies around this house, and and a lot of places on this planet. But Tree of Life, how are you? Blessings to you as well. But I'm looking around. I'm going, what the hell is going on? I mean, it's like, well, then it was like an orb. And normally, I see orbs and things through a device. Like, there's been many videos that I've done where people have like watched the orbs travel across the screen and then disappear and one go like this. So people have been seeing orbs and things around me for a long time here, live stream kind of thing. And so, I'm used to this kind of stuff, but here recently, and I mean within about the last month, maybe, the incidence of seeing stuff without the aid of a device like a camera or this video screen thingy here, which is a camera, by the way. I've redone it, I guess. Anyway, but to the point though, it's like, what's going on? And I mention this because I go outside to see where the planets are and where's the moon, what's the sky covered, and I haven't done an Earth wobble update in a while, and I'm going to do that on a separate video, but I want to stay on this subject for this time around. But the idea though, you're doing good. Thank you, Tree of Life. Blessings and cheers to you. Pass it around, But to the universe and everything, I'm looking around and I'm like, but what's all these things? And some of these things I've seen have been like asteroids, comets, kind of stuff, Not too sure if I've seen any UFOs get shot down recently, which I have seen before, see previous videos, but not this time. They look like, honest to goodness, asteroids, meteorite, anyway, you know what I mean? They look normal. But there's been some strange flashes in the sky, and some people are trying to report that maybe these flashes are solar flares kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know about that. But consider if they're really, if you really and truly believe in the space war that's going on around us, all the different satellites, check things out. There are things out there. Consider that maybe some of that is, maybe we're actually watching some battles and flashes are actually coming from some other place. Just keep that in mind. That may be actually what's happening. But in this other realm of seeing into my consideration of seeing these, and tonight I saw like a snake kind of thing, one of those tubular things. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not even wearing goggles. What the hell was that? And I tried to move my eyes around in the light and I tried to duplicate it. Maybe it was the way I was looking and the light because I was outside. And maybe it was the light reflecting off the truck or something. And I just imagined it. No, I couldn't reproduce it. And there were a couple of other things and stuff flying around. Now, I've noticed this before, just haven't reported on it too much. So I'm kind of condensing this. So in the last 3 weeks, I have been experiencing these events that seem to be ramping up. Now, my observation has been, well, maybe I'm actually seeing into the lower fourth. Maybe I'm just getting old and my eyes are playing tricks on me. But the more that I look and just observe, because that's the point, that's the science of it. You must observe over a period of time. So I haven't said too much about it because it's like, well, let me watch this, a couple more days. Well, tonight going into town and back, it was like, in similar places on the road, I saw similar things. Whatever was flying across the road, I'd seen on previous trips into Meg's on the way home, and sometimes on the way, but within a certain mile area or something on the highway, I was like, there's like these streaks going across, and they're not bugs because I noticed that. I said, well, I see that bug, but that which went before it was not a bug, kind of thing, So my observations are, I try to consider that it's something else. I don't immediately go, oh, look, there's an extraterrestrial something, I try to pin it on something natural. And then when I can't, and I go, that's when I lean to, well, it must be something else, interdimensional or something like that. But so I bring this topic up because it seems like things are ramping up somehow. Not a clue what it means. It's just an observation as a scientific point of view, one person's observation. And I've kind of heard rumblings of other people seeing more things. And wow, did you see that purple orb, or or whatever? And certain things that are just like, I know there are people who are scratching their heads going, now, was that my imagination or what? All right, Jimbo, Jibby Bob, y'all playing tricks. Did you put some LSD in my tea? I thought I was started seeing colors. Was it damn mushrooms we picked, out yonder? But there ain't nothing like that. Hey, my sky, blessings to you as well. Hello. But to the point though, I mean, the things in the sky that I've noticed, just look like asteroid kind of meteor comet thingy, not comets, but, normal incoming, people who have tried to come up with the idea that, we are the space that we live in space in our solar system is somehow stagnant, that there's nothing in it. Oh my God, there's all kinds of rocks and debris and dust and ice and there's stuff from all over everywhere, in our solar system, in the universe. And so many people are just like, well, oh my God, this is like very rare. No, it's not. It's common. There's all kinds of space junk out there. So hello, Melanie. Blessings. Yeah, my sky. Yeah, you're seeing more things too. Thank you. This is part of the observation. So I know I'm not taking. I'm not on any medication, unless somebody's been slipping me a Mickey I don't know about, or it's some kind of ET interference making my brain go woo-woo, which that's possible too. But it's just, that's why I just have to cross my arms sometimes and say, okay. And as a shaman in training, just because you see something one time doesn't necessarily make it true. Now, it can be so vivid and so real that you can like feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, and you go, well, that was a real event. But then there are times when you see glimpses of things, you go, and the next thing you do is you must be aware of them, alert to them. You don't necessarily have to understand who they are or why they're here, other than the fact that you can see them and that you're observing them. And it's in the observance of these objects. And as a shaman, whether in meditation or ceremony or things will appear, not appear, feelings, stuff. I mean, beings can just like walk through your campfire kind of thing and wave at you, and some interesting stuff can happen. And depending on where you are and where the energy field is on wherever you're having the ceremony. So I've always picked, certain quote hotspots and done ceremonies, sweat lodges, and that type of thing. And only good types of stuff were ever done there. So I didn't go say, okay, let's go down here and have a drunken party around where I normally do ceremony. That don't work. No, sorry. We'll go build a fire over here for that. Y'all want to get drunk? Not around my ceremony fire. You cannot contaminate the dirt area in the area. But anyway, so I know that there are, hot energy spots and so forth like that. So we, as workers of energy, and as we learn things as part of our spiritual journey, and whatever, some places just feel better to go sit in the yard, or where you put your chair. There's a favorite spot on the porch. I mean, it's like, well, if you move it over here, and I've noticed some people say, well, no, where my chair sits on the floor don't really matter. And I'm going, then why did you scooch it over? Because I moved it earlier, and you came out, sat on the porch, and then scooched it over because there's a favorite spot. No, there isn't. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, but you just, people do it being unaware a lot of times. Where is your chair in the living room? Do you like it over here? No, it don't feel right. But over here, feng shui, whatever. So we have to consider where we are in relationship to how things are manifesting themselves for us to see or not see. So just curiosity, the Schumann's been not off the charts, but excuse me, let me have a little sip of drink. Blessings to all y'all out there. My Sky, Tree of Life, a Cosmic Convergence. Hey there, how are you? And blessings sent there. Just created a cloud dragon. Which brings up that subject too about clouds. That was some of the things that I've noticed just in the last 2 days with the storm moving out and things. Holy crap, it was 102 in the shade yesterday here. And I don't mean heat index. I mean, it was 102. Holy crap. I mean, I've been here a long time. 102 in September? But I don't believe that it's global warming. It's just how energies and things and highs and lows and what they're manipulating for the, these folks who are playing with the weather and stuff. And they are. Because there's these really high clouds, and they don't manifest from anywhere. But today was like you couldn't see through them anywhere, anytime. And they started early this morning when I went out to watch the moon set and and check to see where Pleiades is, because it's on the rise now. And that's one solar system that is easy for me to watch and observe over the winters. So in previous years of Earth Wobble updates, I usually use Pleiades and where is Orion and certain stars like that, because when they're over your head one night and then way over here the next night, something's going on with the Earth Wobble. So this is absolutely going on, because when I watched Pleiades set last year, before it just kind of it was always there, but during the daylight. So now it's more readily seen at night. So my observation is I have to go outside and look past north or straight overhead of my house, the eve, to see where Pleiades is. So it's very high in the sky versus where I saw it last year when I could see it out my window. Now I have to go outside and take 2 steps and notice it's really high. So that means that the earth is doing its wobble, but we're also coming into September, which is the autumnal equinox. And no, standing an egg don't really work. The possible chances of you standing an egg on end on any other given date, the probabilities are like, but that thing with the egg, just forget it. It's a really nice, it's a really nice thing to do, just for the hell of it on the equinox. But anyway, but the energy, so we're coming into the equinox here. We're coming out of some old stuff. There's a lot of energy portals and things going on. And, I try not to name things. Now, if I know, like, for example, that I see Pleiades on the rise, I know there are certain energies and things that are tied with these particular star clusters and groups and stuff like that. And, and where things are in relationship to like Pleiades and where Jupiter is now, and it's in Scorpius, and where the moon is right now, and it's Saturn and Pluto's right next door to it. So, there's this like clusters of stuff going on. And then Uranus is further over in the eastern sky this time of night. But an observation also, I use this one particular app that's a free download app, and I've talked about it before, and it's called Star Atlas. And you choose where you are. You know, I'm in Colquitt County, Georgia. So it says, okay, where is your location? And what does it look like looking south? Well, I'm Colquitt County looking south, blah, and I'm in South Colquitt County. So, you know, that should make a little bit of difference. Not really. But where the Star Atlas says everything is at now, it's not in the same location off of the horizon as the Star Atlas claims. So it's like Jupiter's higher, Saturn and Pluto are higher, and the moon is higher up from the, you know, from the horizon up this way. The angle's all wrong. And I'm like, now is the Star Atlas off? Because I usually do all the calculations and everything usually is pretty, you know, or has the Earth wobbled again? And, you know, because of where Pleiades is. And now what the chart says I should be seeing out my window is not at a 30-degree angle, it's at a 50-degree angle. They're still in the same location, but not, you know, not looking at them horizontally kind of thing, you know. It's like, nah, there's 15, 20 degrees difference, which would account for the 15 to 20 degree difference of where I noticed Pleiades being. Just saying. Now, does that have anything to do with seeing other objects and other lower dimensionals? I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of this going on. And back to the Schumann resonance. And down, it's like goes off the chart about 40 or something like that, whatever those hashtags mean in the Schumann resonance on the chart. Okay, they relate to itself, not to anything else electronically. So, but anyway, down in the 32, 34 range, like down at the bottom of the chart, there are these little dashes, and then sideways, and they're really intense. And then there's a blank spot, and then there's another one, and then there's a blank spot, and back up about 25, you can see dot dash 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 all the way across. And sometimes that line is you know, linear this way instead of up and down, right? So, and there's a lot of frequencies coming in, and they're coming in at certain frequencies, and they're staying there. That 25 thingy on the chart, whatever it represents, has been there for the last 6 months at least. So these things are affecting us. Is that making these other energies and other orbs and spirits? And the last couple of times about these little worm objects, and I know there are people out there who have taken photographs and video of these worm kind of like things, you know, that are squiggling around. Well, I've been seeing them and trying to ignore them, like, well, that just must have been but when it happens, I've been trying to recreate, how did I just see that? Was it something else? Was it a lightning bug? Was it? And I know that one night I just absolutely saw a fairy go by, and it was like, whoa. I mean, I actually saw it without a camera, you know. That was just strange. So I have no idea what this all means, but it's just my observations and just saying, you know, there are definitely some changes and definitely some frequencies, whether, and, you know, I don't consider myself really good at this, you know, but have I, over my many years, finally got my fine tuning right to where I can now see these things, accept them or whatever. Yes, I'm getting better at it, but I also think it's more than that. And I think that we are sharing this, and that's the purpose of this video, for you all to, like, just, if you wish, chime in and go, yep, me too. That's all that's necessary, because you know, some of the images, entities, snaky type things, or worm looking like things, you know, I don't know what they are, but they don't feel like they're swarming around my head trying to eat me. So I'm good with it as long as they're good with it. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, I want to check and see what y'all saying before I leave out of here. This is just going to be a short little one here about this. I didn't have anything really planned to discuss other than observations, my sky, noticing the same thing. Cosmic says, I think the entities are regulating the light codes that we are receiving. There's a lot of interaction, my sky. Who's actually doing one thing or another? Who knows? But are we all interacting, and are they Oh yeah, there's a lot of interaction going on. So Cosmic says I've seen a major increase in beings all around. Skyfish, they seem to accompany certain beings. Yep, me too. Okay, yeah. So that's just good that we can all kind of see the observation. Um, oh, and back to the cloud thing. Um, Tree of Life, let's see, was talking about clouds earlier. Um, in noticing the high level of clouds where you just can't actually see the sky, and the moon's clouded over with the same stuff. Don't even know where it come from, but it's a haze and it's very high. But the other thing that I've noticed over the last few days is that, and there's an area south of me that's had a lot of activity. I've seen UFO kind of stuff, the hanging out and glittering and changing colors and disappearing. And so there's a lot of stuff out this wind, out to my southeast, over the last many years that I've lived here in my observations. So, some of them I'm like, whoa, look at that. But the last few days, we've got this haze, but no other really cloud formations. But all of a sudden, I'd look out the window and there would be like this really puffy cotton candy kind of looking cloud that just formed out of nowhere. And I'm looking at it. It's not really transforming, doesn't really move. It sits there and kind of does this little morphy thing. By the time I'd get my camera, it'd be over, because basically I turned my head, look back out there, and the thing's gone, disappeared, evaporated. There's no like little smoky trail or anything, no little piece over here. And I go, no, what the hell was that? Just little cloud, blah, 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 blue, and it's gone. I don't have a clue. I mean, I seriously don't. But to the point of, and then it usually happens in this area. And I go outside and look. Well, I've seen it kind of almost overhead over me. So I've noticed this, and somewhere I've got a little piece of video like, look at this cloud, and you can watch it just form and then dissipate, and then it forms back, and then it dissipates again. And I'm like, what the hell? And perfectly clear sky or high clouds. But this thing's just doing this morphing thing. What the, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have an explanation other than they're there. And today was another, and it's happened the last few days, that there's this increase of these odd little clouds showing up from nowhere and then dissipating, and then, weird. They don't come in on the wind. I'm observant of all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, so I'm going to keep this short. And I got another topic, and if I'm feeling up to it, I'll come on in an hour or so and discuss some other things. But my friends, I had a being sitting on my daughter's car last night. That's interesting. He couldn't perceive me until I walked up to me in an ICU, startled him a bit, and he was gone. They will tap me on my back, and I pretend not to notice them. Then I'll turn around and suddenly say, boo. Fun to do. Yeah, there are times like that too. But my vision in that is still cloudy, cosmic. So, but here's to, I made some, in fun jokes and stuff about, why aliens thinks, human beings are stupid, right? But in that, I want to say that we have to understand that when people start seeing some of the things that we've been noticing ourselves, whatever the creatures are and however they appear to us, because sometimes it is perception. But to the point, though, this is something that some other people they're going to have to put on depends, because they're going to crap their drawers unless they're into that kind of thing. But to the point, though, it's like, so I take it as like, wow, the surreal reality of that I've always been aware of for many years, as many of us have, is now becoming real reality. And I haven't seen any negative creatures. You know, things that are skidding around is kind of like they're like lower fourth dimensional bugs. You know, like there goes a great big moth or something, or that's a lightning bug, or you know, whatever. But you can see through them, and they're not bugs. And wait a minute, hang on there. We've been capturing these on our videos and pictures, and when you get the light just right, and so we all know that these things exist. So I take it as a handshake to the entities of these other realms that we've been aware of, etc. Shake hands with them. Now, if they're nasty, you know, hey, get away. I got a fly swatter here. Don't want to be mean, but, you know, just saying, you get into my space, we argue. You stay over there and fly around, I'm good with it, as long as you ain't hurting none of my stuff. You know, it's that common sense kind of thing. You have a right to exist as long as we ain't having them, you know. But so with that, though, my friends, I love you all. I do. I hope you've had a great weekend, a great weekend, and that your Monday was, you know, Mondays go. I hope they went well. And, you know, just keep an eye on what's going on as you normally do. But this was just a curious thing tonight to see the increase and in the similar spots on the road. I thought, well, if I'm going to see little wiggly things, maybe it's the lights on my truck, you know, through the window, it's nighttime, blah, blah, blah. But it only happens in certain places on the road. And I'm like, now that's weird. Because it's like, okay, happen again. No, 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 no. Whoops, there goes one. Now, what the hell was that? You can drive, you know, and it's a 7-mile trip one way. So, but anyway, hey, Brian, by the way, just waiting to see myself in another timeline. Yeah, just waiting to see. Yeah, okay, wait. I think they are powerful. I think we are powerful co-creators. One of the things that, as a shaman in training, we need to understand that what some people think they are manifesting is actually something that's been there for a long time. And you're just bringing the awareness to it. You're bringing whatever that creature, critter, God knows, don't try, you know, any demons, blah, blah, blah. But the idea, though, that you just say, hey, show me who you are, you know, give me a flash in the mirror kind of thing. But the idea that any of us should have to control or want to be possessed or possess or control of another being, entity, or whatever, to me is insanity. You know, and people who think that, well, I'm going to call up this being, you know, and they're going to help me, and I'm going to do this, and don't how much do you respect the universe? I mean, if you understand what your own energy is, you don't need to call upon anybody else's. Call upon your own energy. And be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you manifest a thing and go, well, wait a minute, I didn't quite expect that outcome. And someone might say, well, maybe that's a timeline. Well, you know, like, for example, introducing two people and they get together and something happens, and, you know, and you go, wow, I really didn't expect that to happen. You know, I lost my good buddy or something, or then they got divorced, and blah, you know, folks like that. But the thing is like, you know, well, wait a minute now. So some of the simple things we think are harmless may have catastrophic events in future places down the road. Be careful what you wish for, you know. Sometimes when you manifest something, it's like, but did you really need it? And I always say, and it's an old shaman thing, why? Well, grandfather, what do you mean, why? Why do you want to know this? Well, so I understand. Okay, but why do you want to understand it? Well, so I can, why do you want to know about this? Well, if you be true to heart, you say, well, I want to know this so I can learn how to use the power of the universe, nature, whatever. So, but grandfather always says, but what is your purpose? Why? Well, why what? But that's what, if you're going to be good at anything, you need to ask why you're going to do it. Well, it's going to make me money. Is that a really good motivation? Sometimes. But is it more that you're true to an art or an invention or something or whatever that actually does the driving for you versus money or greed? But that's not always the case. But that's the choice we make in life. But with the energies and so forth that we put forth and what we decide we should manifest, how many of us actually take a step back and go, let me keep an eye on this for a little bit. Let me observe this, because maybe the long-term effects of this ain't such a good idea. That's when we understand the wisdom of the universe. Before we just go, well, seems like a good idea to me, and then you go, wait a minute, later on you go, man, I didn't think this out. And it's not necessarily that you were wrong, but maybe what you thought of as the outcome of something is not what you projected, because you put your own thought pattern into, well, I'm, and it's important to understand this, what we expect of something. So it's like, my old long-term joke about, somebody says, well, I need a car. Well, here's a Ford. Yeah, but I really wanted a Chevy. But I got, I really wanted a Chevy. Well, okie dokie, but I got to put in, sorry. So it's like, but it's a car. Well, so in life, there are a lot of things to go, but I thought, but maybe you get the Chevy and the Chevy wasn't such a good idea. Sometimes that works out backwards too. But what we think we need and what we imply, and it's like, it's the observation point in science where the observers actually can modify the test results simply by observing them. So the idea, though, that if we can have that kind of influence, even if it's just a minute amount, then we should be careful with what we wish for. So, and in the long run, it's like also, have we considered, well, this is my point of view. Okay, great. What about their point of view or a third party's point of view that is only slightly adverse affected by whatever that decision is that you make? Have you considered that? The trickle down thing and spiritual karma. Wait a minute. Well, I did this with this guy. Yeah, but he, you kept him out and you had bought him a beer and he got home 20 minutes late, and everything was good with you, but he had an argument with this old lady and she grabbed the kids and went to mama's house for the weekend. And you just thought it was a harmless beer. But the cascading effect down the line, wait a minute. Well, I have been a part of that, and things like that have happened to me and to close friends. So it's like, hey, this is a reality, but it was just a beer. It was so harmless, but then there was this cascading effect, and we're manifesting things by our decisions. But do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand what these simple, tiny little things, what the consequences can be? It doesn't matter about having accidents or whatever. But did was this appropriate at the time? Really? But we think so, well, it'll be okay. Come on. I can treat myself to a beer. I can do, and sometimes that gets us in trouble. I raised my hand because I've had that experience. But to the point, though, that is part of our manifestation of things, how we look at the universe. These things that are appearing more to us, these are manifestations. They've always been there. Now, some of them are new beings, and depending on where you live, there's, different colors of, orbs and things, like down at the beach on the Ochlockonee, they seem to have this particular kind of color and formation. When I go to the Flint River and take pictures of the orbs, they're different, similar, but not. When I've taken pictures in Ohio, the blue spheres, they were different, similar, but not totally different kind of beings, feelings, stuff like that. Oh my God. But to the point, so, there are all these things just out of our, 3D vision thing. And I think by being fine-tuned through the Schumann resonance, to make things perfectly clear here, is the result. The Schumann resonance is the echo of what has come and hit the earth. So the earth is responding to the cosmic energies, and the result is the Schumann resonance, and it shows up in these frequencies. Now, it used to be they just showed up here and there, but if you go out there and look, you'll notice that, oh my God, there's these background noises, and sometimes they get really spiky sideways and not up and down. What the hell's going on with that? If Mother Earth is responding, don't you think that you and me are? Now, I ain't got a clue as to what it's doing to us, other than before you go getting freaked out about stuff, consider that all these things are connected together. Cosmic energies, the Schumann is showing us, regardless if we can see them or what they are, and in different levels of science and understanding with people, because there is so much to Mother Nature that science, this is another subject for another video, but the science of Mother Nature versus this human science, and human science still can't figure out what Mother Nature's up to. So we try to believe what human scientists try to make us believe with their hypotheses and so forth. And with that, they say, well, but that's how Mother Nature works. And then, something comes along and they go, well, we didn't expect that. Well, then you don't really understand then, do you? And so there are so many things now that are becoming clear through Mother Nature itself, and with all of us and all of you and other folk who are starting to understand just things differently. It was like the hurricane that just stalled over the Bahamas. What? It just sat there? Are you kidding me? The hurricanes just don't, and then no, sorry. And people all over the planet are going, that was weird. I ain't seen nothing like that yet. So there's like things are being shown to us that, hey, the bad guys tried to, wipe out the east coast of Florida. Whoops. Something happened. Now the Bahamas had their lunch handed to them, and we got to still pray for those folks who are, stranded down there. Last year we had that bad hurricane that came through, the panhandle of Florida up here through Georgia, tore a big old hole through South Georgia, ripped my neighbor's barn up again, and tornadoes everywhere. And I got trees down on the property and, but, no damage here, but, to the point there was a lot of stuff down. Had a tree hit the chicken pen and some other stuff, but, we survived. But other people weren't so lucky. I'm downhill and protected where other people were up on a hill. So, and we had 100-mile-an-hour gust easy here. And I can't imagine. It was very strange being here, but I knew I was on land. But to think of what must have been like, plus 20, 30, 40 miles an hour of what we had here on an island with nowhere to go and the ocean coming up. Dude, I was damn near panicked last year because it was the worst storm I've ever been in. And I can't imagine. So people are out there going, oh, those folks down there's a lot of fake. Nah, if you ain't ever really been in a storm and seen the aftermath and your neighbors' houses and roofs and things laying in the yard. My neighbor's barn was wrapped around my front driveway. I had to cut my way out a few years back. This last hurricane dropped 2 trees, one on his property across mine and one on mine to over his. Had to cut my way to get to the top of my driveway. I couldn't even get to the road, let alone anywhere else. But so for people to think, well, this is an important old bull. Well, anyway, in that all things are to be prepared. So I never panicked. And although it got really scary sometimes, we have to put trust and faith in the Creator, because when I heard a really loud gush, I kind of ducked my head just in case there was a flying limb. It's to be smart with things. What has that got to do with the energies that we're seeing? Because of the energy of the storms, the different winds, the patterns, the things, the atmosphere's not as high as it used to be. It's more compressed. And all of these things are affecting us, our energies, and the energies of these other beings. So, the things are being agitated. I mean, like, for example, crickets don't always chirp at the same temperature. But at night, when the temperature reaches a certain point, certain frogs will get triggered by temperature. And cricket, cricket, hop on, and you hear all this stuff, then it gets a little cooler and it gets real quiet, and you go, what happened? 2 degrees, and the crickets shut up, or the certain frogs will be quiet, so all of these things are affected. But so what's coming forward now is other folks are seeing it. Science can't keep up with what Mother Nature is showing us. We need to keep paying attention to Mother Nature. As some of the scientists, Neil deGrasse, what's his name? Oh, please. Every time I see him, I just want to go, "Argh." But then I think, no, that's a really negative thought, and I could manifest him choking on a bagel or something. No, don't want to go there, but I'm like, God, and people listen to this guy, please. But anyway, I love you all, my friends. I do. My 3D says, oh, my skies, sorry. Our energy flows where our attention goes. Yep. Much like that. And we need to be careful, and be careful what you want to know. There are future events. It's like, way back in the day when I was really early on in this particular shaman thingy, I was like, show me what you got and show me what's coming up. And then when I saw it, I went, oh, holy crap. And now you can't unsee it. So there are people who want to, throw the dice, tarot cards, animal cards, things like that. And I spoke about it before. It's all right to use them, but don't abuse them, and don't allow, please understand that the cards can take effect of you where you want to do another reading. It might not be appropriate at the time, but something is compelling you. What's the energy that makes you want to pick up your cards and do a reading? You got to stop and go, well, hang on. Why do I need to do a reading right now? Well, there's something in my brain. Yeah. But is it yours? Is it a friend? Is it something? Or is there something else that's using the energy of your cards to go, yo, Hawkeye, pick up your animal cards? Why? This is like, I know where my incoming, the joke is from, Third Rock from the Sun. Incoming message from the big giant head, and so and it's a joke with my guys, gals, folks, and it's like, but that's it. I know it's coming from there. Anything else is like, all right, I hear something, but that doesn't mean I need to pay attention to it. But if it ain't coming through my guys, I'm like, why do you want me to pick up the cards? So I always check with my folk before I just go to it. But there are people who get absorbed with cards and runes, different things. I mean, even using the divining thingies all the time. Why do you need to ask so many dumb questions of the universe? And why do you and maybe that's your answer, not somebody else's. And how do you know you're not being fooled with by the spirits around you? Are you absolutely sure? Well, I keep saying yes and no, but who's giving you the yes and no? Well, but, and you're trusting on this. And so my point is that if you use it all the time, those energies can be antennas for other beings who might like to play with you. So use them, but don't abuse them, and understand that it can come backwards on you too, because of the different energy flows. So, but anyway, my friends, demonstration of how powerful we are. Absolutely. David, I have a very cool dragon I just uploaded. I want you to come take a look at it. Okay. Thank you. Hugs back to all of y'all. So I've actually, yacked on for another 30 minutes more than I thought, but, that's me. But all of these things are connected. The 3D beings, you and I, what we manifest, what we share in the astral, what we share with the quantum realm, all of these things are coming true. And so, hang on, I'm going to offer chamomile tea. Do you guys like Earl Grey, or do you like worm soup? I'm not sure. Just let me know and we'll try to accommodate. 64 Starlight. Just found, was laying in bed thinking of pure white light and angel of silver and white light and light on my TV and buy button and started flashing to a bright blue. So resonating. Yep. And I've had a lot of severe head trauma. I mean, seriously, like over 21 serious head concussions, like 6 of them put me in the hospital and, knocked me out and nasty things over the years. So I'm much better now. But to where I used to be able to visualize things, my brain has literally been reconstructed. There are parts of my brain that are seriously damaged, and I've had to reconstruct them from a mental point of view, from my point. I mean, literally, it's like, okay, I know there are memories in there. Let's put this part back together again, because I was disconnected to damn near everything and was having multiple, like every 10 minutes having a seizure kind of thing for several months. It was really rough. Anyway, but to have overcome that, to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you and make up shit for 45 minutes, and, be relatively lucid in my thoughts, if you were. But the idea, though, that so I know that we can fix stuff within us, our brains, because I was damn near a vegetable in a wheelchair. So, and I'm not that now, and I'm older and I feel better and I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. So, can we fix ourselves? Can we reconstruct things? Can we use the power of the universe to help heal ourselves? Yeah. I'm still practicing at this, I'm still learning, but as I get older, there are certain things that like my arthritis is still doing really good, thumbs up. My knee's doing really well after having it, broken in 4 places at the age of 15, and having had, 50 some odd years of trouble with it. And it's working better now than it did since I was a teenager. I mean, these things are like positive things from the universe. There is no other explanation. I'm not going to any special doctor. There's no Chinese guy over me going, and poking me with anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just making a little bit of side humor here about something, ain't nobody poking, prodding, or whatever as far as physically. Now, I know that there are folks out there who send me healing prayers and things. Cheers. I love you and thank you. So, but anyway, so keep it between the ditches. Understand that what you read in science, you got to take with a grain of salt and go, there's probably 10 layers of stuff that they ain't telling us. And for you Dante folks out there, cheers. Keep it between the ditches and understand that they show you real things, but then they lie about a lot of other stuff or just simply refuse to give you any more information. So always be wary, not necessarily cynical, but at the same point, it's like, that can't be all you're telling me. But okay, but anyway, I love you all, I do. And so continued prayers. So I close this as always with an honest prayer, and I do mean this. Walk with peace, my brothers and sisters. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive the blessings, the healing, the knowledge from the universe that's always there. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations will continue to accept and receive these blessings, the wisdoms and the knowledge, and that you continue to share it. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive and continue to share with cosmic hugs and love to all those others who are just now learning about these things. We must be humble, because if we are in the least bit narcissistic with what we wish to help them explain and explore, we need to be patient healers. And we need to say, let bygones be bygones. Let me show you how this works. So with that, my friends, I love you all. I do. I'm sitting here listening with a friend, and he appreciates it as well. Blessings, you folk. Keep passing it around. And always remember, for whatever it is that's out there, the biggest question as a shaman is, why? Why do you want to know this? Why is there air? Why do I think this way? Why? Before you go off on anything, always ask the question, why? What's the purpose of this? It's not that you shouldn't do it, but ask the question, why? Well, I'm going to do this. Why? Well, because I want to. Why? Why? It's be a little kid about it, because you start learning about yourself and how deep you are with your own spirit when you continuously ask, and not in a bad way. Why do you want to do this, Hawkeye? Well, I don't know. This seems like a pretty good subject. And sometimes they'll say, do it now. Boom, like I do this video right now. And then other times they go, hey, sit this one out. Let this one, we got some more information coming for me. We're going to talk about this later. Okay. I love you all. Bye. So with that, keep smiling and stay with your own guardian angel, for goodness sake. And any other information coming in, even with your cards or runes or whatever, I'm not saying don't use them, but always ask the question, why do they want me to do this right now? And check with your guardian and say, what about this? Should I do this now or not? No, they might say, you really shouldn't. And listen, because sometimes it'll get in trouble if you don't. But the biggest thing is that you will learn and understand and practice to be able to trust your own spirit guide. So, my friends, until next time, keep it between the ditches. Stay strong, stay safe, and always be humble and be compassionate as well. So, TTFN from South Georgia. Till next time, hugs all.